Hey, I'm Phoebe, and until recently, I was enjoying life to the fullest, and now I'm going crazy. And that's how it all started. From the cradle, I was the perfect baby. I didn't cry, I didn't whimper, and I didn't get hysterical. Even when I fell and broke my knees into blood. My parents were surprised, but very happy, thinking that I was just a very obedient girl. Once, when I was 5, I was playing outside, and suddenly I started laughing out loud. Dad heard me from the kitchen and ran out to see what made me so happy. And when he saw me, he almost fainted. I laid on the pavement with a badly broken knee and laughed. The cut was so severe that they took me to the hospital and put 9 stitches on the wound. Both my parents and doctors were shocked by my behavior. I never cried. Dad often remembers this incident. This was the first sign of my peculiarity. At the age of 8, I had a dream. I really wanted a kitten, but my mother had a strong allergy to wool, so we couldn't have pets. And one day, we went to the zoo, and there, near the enclosure with the tigers, I was so amused by the cats. Just look at them. They're so beautiful. I want to pet them, I decided. And while Dad was chatting on his mobile phone and Mom was studying the map of the zoo, I climbed onto the net of the enclosure. And after a couple of minutes, I was already inside it. Several tigers frolicked on the grass while their mother basked in the sun nearby. I ran up to the kids and tried to take one of them in my arms. And behind me, I heard a scream. Dad and Mom, seeing that I was in an enclosure with predators, called the zookeepers for help. At that moment, an angry tigress jumped on me. She saw that I was trying to grab one of her babies, and of course the animal came to the defense of her cub. She growled at me and hit me hard with her paw. It didn't hurt me, but I let the tiger cub go. Realizing that these cats are very heavy and I can't cuddle them, I climbed onto the net and got out of the enclosure. While I was climbing, the tigress hit me several times with her paw, but I felt no pain. Rather, disappointed that it didn't work out to play with the cubs. A couple of minutes later, my parents and I were taken to the hospital in an ambulance. And only now I noticed that all my clothes were tattered and covered in blood. When they saw me, the doctors were shocked. There was no living place on me. I was all scratched. They washed my wounds, made bandages, and gave me antibiotics, and Mom and Dad's sedatives. They still can't talk about this case calmly. As I grew older, my collection of wounds, injuries, and fractures grew. My parents were sure that I was just a very active and inquisitive girl, and very patient, since I can calmly endure pain, so they thought. As a teenager, I became unbearable. I was 13. I rebelled, argued with my parents, and even got involved with one dubious company. These guys were stalkers. They loved to roam the old abandoned dungeons, tunnels, and even sewers. In the dark, when you can't see anything, but you understand that you need to move forward, the adrenaline just rolls over. Sometimes, old rotten boards cracked underfoot, stones fell off, but it was incredible. I came home in dirty clothes, with matted hair, all in scratches and wounds, but very happy. Parents couldn't do anything about their daughter's extreme passion. And then my friends came up with a new hobby. Driving motorcycles at night through mountainous terrain. With the accumulated money, I bought myself a used motorcycle, despite all the persuasion of my unfortunate parents. While I was training, everything was more or less calm. I drove slowly, learned to do tricks, ride over rocks, jump from one rock to another, overcome obstacles. A month later, I felt so confident behind the wheel that I decided to take part in the competition. Imagine, night, 10 growling bikes, and only headlights to illuminate your dangerous route. But I was sure that I could win. I was fearless and everyone knew it. But alas, Sometimes confidence is not enough. I didn't soberly assess all of the conditions in that race, and I paid dearly for it. Light rain began, and when I was a minute from the finish line and my desired victory on a sharp rise, the front wheel slipped on a stone, and I flew down the slope. Several times the motorcycle rolled over in the air, and landing, I hit my head and lost consciousness. But I didn't feel anything except for the big disappointment. After all, I lost. In the hospital, where I was taken by ambulance, the doctors looked at me with undisguised horror. My parents rushed over, and my mom fell into hysterics when she saw me. I couldn't understand anything. Well, yes, I fell, hit, there was a lot of blood. I understood that this time, I would most likely have to lie in the hospital for a while to recover. But I didn't expect that I would spend a year within these walls. After a detailed examination, heaps of pictures and analysis, the doctor was taken aback by a frightening list of injuries. Fractures of both arms and legs, spinal fracture, lung rupture, hematoma of the brain, and the worst, I'm now paralyzed. And no one knows if I'll ever be able to walk. For the first 6 months, I lay on stretchers. At first they fed me through a tube, then my mother from a spoon. Then I slowly started to sit up. Now I'm in a wheelchair, and I live in a hospital. Exercises, massages every day. My parents have already mortgaged the house, spending everything on my treatment. But no one makes any predictions. The doctors hope that my strong young body will cope and I'll be able to walk. And I really want this to happen. This year, I realized a lot and have already asked for forgiveness from my parents hundreds of times. For my stupid behavior, for my thoughtless actions. No, I'm not afraid of pain. It's just a feature of my body. But this does not mean that I have to turn off my brain and do whatever comes into my head. Guys, don't ever be as flippant as I was. Remember that you will always have to pay for your mistakes. And often, the price is very high. Write to me. How do you like my story? Maybe you can suggest something useful? How to stay positive in such a situation? I look forward to your comments. Oh, and one more thing. Subscribe to my channel. Bye, everyone.